We're staring down the barrel of a gun. I know you care. These open eyes stare. So many times we're staring down the barrel of a gun. Oh, I know you care. These open
Good morning, Catalyst. It's so good to be together. Can you please grab some coffee and take your seats? We're going to begin in 5 minutes.
Good morning. How are we doing this morning? I hate to interrupt conversations. It's a good thing. My name's Courtney. Just wanted to welcome you all here this morning to Catalyst, our monthly gathering of area influencers and leaders gathering together to connect. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse this morning. And we're just here to build new trusting relationships with a broader circle of people. So we're really excited that you're all here. If you can do me a favor, we ask you every month, pull out your phone and check in on Facebook. It lets your friends know, your community know where you're at, and hopefully can invite more people to join us. The other thing is on your tables, there is a sign-in. So if first-time guests, if you can fill out the little card that's on your table, just so we can keep you updated on what's going on and different events, and keep track of attendance. And if you are a returning guest, if you can put your name on the sign-in on the tables, that would be awesome. So what we're going to ask you to do after you've done all that signing in is to stand and find somebody that you do not know. Oh, nope, sorry, first, actually, I'm welcoming someone else up first. So what I want to do first is actually welcome up Lori Adderholt. She is the executive director for World Relief. World Relief is a local nonprofit that provides services to refugees in our local community. So they provide support that's emotional, social, cultural, and spiritual to victims of war and persecution around the world who are being placed here in our community.
Hi, good morning, good morning. There's a little tradition in my family, of course, probably like yours. And Thanksgiving, we like to go around the table and just tell each of our family members how grateful we are for them and to thank them for things. And also sometimes around Christmas, we like to, sometimes it's a little emotional, but we like to affirm one another when we hand them a gift. We love to affirm them. And we just see such the bonding and the connecting, but it really is just a reminder to us how grateful we are for them for being in our lives. So that's what I want to do here tonight, because you heard a little bit about the work that we do, but this is kind of going to be a thank you and an affirmation to our to my community, to our community. So as I just said, with Thanksgiving around the corner, it reminds us how thankful we are for Stanislaus County and our surrounding areas for truly being a beacon of hope and restoration to over 900 refugees that have come into this area this past year, who had to flee their life for fear of, had to flee their country, for fear of their life. Here's the interesting part about this. The majority of them that have come this past year, and these last few years, have come from Afghanistan. They served with our U.S. military, so they served mainly maybe with some of your kids, your spouses in Afghanistan, and in their hope and their service was to get a better life and better country so that they could all be safe. But what they found, it was no longer safe because they worked with our U.S. military, and so their lives were then in danger. And then the U.S. provides them, because of their service, a visa to come to the United States. So we have welcomed in the past probably 3 years here in Modesto, I would say around maybe 2,000 of them here in this area. They came, they served our military as drivers, interpreters, cultural advisors, and even medical. So with that being said, we feel it's our duty that they are welcomed courageously, generously, and with the grace, love, and acceptance that we would all want if we were ever in their time of need. And as you know, in this politically charged climate, I just want to affirm my community here. And let me just say that it has been nothing short of inspirational. And it shows that it truly takes a village to welcome the vulnerable. From our Good Neighbor teams, from our local churches, to our schools that have been the most so welcoming to our kids that are coming in at all different ages, to our ESL programs, and really our top-notch refugee programming that comes from our county services, has just really been, what we've seen is this has been a city on the hill. And I cannot say that for all of our offices nationwide because many of them, the cities, struggle with refugees and immigrants coming into their community, but not our area. We have been a very welcoming. So we want to continue engaging and equipping and empowering our immigrants and refugee families so that this place can be home, and that place that we call home can be, I'm sorry, gosh. Cut, take two. By engaging, equipping, and empowering immigrant and refugee families, this place we call home can be called home by those who are needing to be welcomed and restored. Because we know it has and it will continue to take all of us. And we just want to say thank you for your love and for your compassion and your selflessness in welcoming the stranger. And so if you want to learn more about the work or the ministry that we do, Eric and I will be at the table in the back afterwards. We'd love to answer your questions and just say, again, thank you. We do have cards on the table that say pray for the displaced, and on the back it gives you 5 different ways. Pray for the churches, the refugees, the displaced. Because one last tidbit, there's over 65 million people worldwide that are displaced, either outside of their own country or not, or in a whole different part of their country. So I feel it's an honor and a privilege to pray for them. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I'm going to have you stand and talk to somebody that you do not know. And our question is, so we work hard to evaluate our effectiveness, and are we actually doing what we want to do, making a difference? So we want you to take the half sheet of paper that's on your table, and we want you to write down and share with one person, how have you benefited personally or professionally through your involvement with Catalyst? Once you've written something down on that half sheet, please leave it on your table. Okay. So I'm so glad you guys had so much to share about that question. If you guys can find your way back to your seats. You guys were so excited about talking to each other that I wanted to make sure some of the instructions were clear. There's a half sheet of paper on your tables. The answers that you guys just spent time talking over with someone else, if you could jot down some of those answers of how you've benefited from Catalyst and leave that paper on the table. We want to make sure that we are effective and helping the things that we want to, which is that connection that's happening today. So just make sure you leave those papers on the table so that we can go ahead and look at your answers and see how we are doing. So I was struggling a little bit with how do you introduce Marvin, who doesn't really need an introduction, except for maybe for the hecklers in the front row. And I was thinking a little bit about my first interaction with Marvin, which was like 10 years ago. I was telling him this the other day. And I was new and I was volunteering with a ministry I was working with. And I walked in and I said, "Hey, Marvin, how you doing?" And he says, "Well, do you want the real answer or the like nice church answer?" And I was like, I don't know. And it was my first interaction, so I was a little taken off guard. But what I will say is that his interaction, that one interaction, is a really good signal for why we are all here. I don't hear someone get up on this stage without saying that the reason they're up here is because Marvin introduced them to someone, or because they knew Marvin and Marvin brought them somewhere that taught them something. And it's because of that ability to go beyond just kind of that surface level that a lot of us are in this room. And that's really what Catalyst is about. And so that's really the best way that I could think of to introduce someone who doesn't really need an introduction in this room. So we are going to hear from Marvin this morning. So please come on up. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Courtney. And I'm going to see if I can get this dude to work. How are you all? Awake this morning? All right, I talked to some of the MJC students and them over there. They're stretching because you guys sat over there usually, right? So you came over here stretching yourself. And I was over here at this one table over here. Man, they were really encouraging to me, and thank you. I appreciate that. So thank you so much. Hey, well, it's great to have you here. I want you to know this, and I've thought about how to say this to you. We usually don't hear this in public settings, and I really do love you, and I love being a part with you. I love working and serving alongside you in this incredible city that continues to evolve and get better and go deeper, and even as Lori mentioned, in its care and concern for all citizens. So I know that sometimes those words, I love you, that sometimes they're cheapened and culture does that, or sometimes there's different. I want you to know it's sincere, it's real. And please don't think that, man, I'm perfect and all that. Well, forget it. You know I'm not. No, exactly. So, yeah, don't even go there. So let's see if I can get this dude to work. Oh, it is working. Thank you so much. Great. So I want you to know that. Every November, we stop from the conversations and the topics of leadership and personal development. And we want to stop and pause. And we want to build not on momentum, but on reflection. That we stop together, at least City Ministry Network, we stop together and we consider where have we been, indicators about how we're doing, and where we think we want to go for next year. Now, we spend a lot of time. I've met with 25 pastors over the last 30 days, and I've spent time with some of you in this room over the last 30 days. And over the last 10 months, just listening and hearing, not doing a lot of talking, but hearing what's going on inside you, around you, in our city, in our communities, so we can get a better gauge where we believe is our place in the flourishing of our community. And so I am so honored to be a part with you. Now, last month we had the new CEO of the county, Jody Hayes, come and speak to us. And I kept sitting back there, I kept thinking, he's so endearing. He had these pictures of when he was little and his wife, I thought, oh my gosh, that's so cute. So before I get into anything serious, I'm going to show you. So I grew up near Mark Twain Junior High School, Mark Twain, Franklin School. Anybody here? What's up? All right, west side. I won't do my W because the sheriff's here, and then he'll arrest me. That's that handsome little Mexican boy right there with the shirt off with his purple Swin Stingray. Very cool. And my dad had got me like those yellow speckled banana seed. Oh, it was just beautiful. I was a stud. I was a stud. That's John Recca, and he doesn't live there anymore, but my mom and dad still do. So in high school, right out of high school, I saw a girl one day at church. And I saw her first. And my eyes said, oh my gosh, there she is. So 4 years later, I finally convinced her that I was God's plan for her life. She had a hard time seeing it at first. But you notice the afro, and in fact, there we are on our wedding night. Sorry, you're not going to get that picture. There are no pictures. There are no pictures. Oh my gosh. There are no pictures. 1978, we didn't do that kind of stuff. So there we are with the afro, and I'd gotten a haircut like 2 days before. So I was Adonis, by the way. And this is our current treasurer at one of our board meetings. Isn't he cute? Nacho Libre. I won't tell you who that is. You might know who that is. But I wanted to take some time to laugh. I'm going to leave that picture up here for a minute, Joe. I'm going to leave it up there. So we come together to pause and, of course, to laugh. And I'm learning this in a season of my life. And I say this to the young ones, those of us who are younger and older. I pray that you'll stop to laugh. Most of us in this room are focused and we're serious. One of the reasons it took me 4 years to finally get to convince my wife that I was God's plan for her life was that really within a month of us going out, I was talking about what our children were going to look like and what color eyes they were going to have, and she was barely 18 years old. She was still a senior in high school, and I was pretty focused, and I scared her off because she wanted to go to college and she wanted to be some things. So it took me a while to be cool and back off. But most of us in the room are focused and we are purposeful and we're going to go for it and get this thing done. And if you spend any more time, let's do this thing. Let's quit messing around. Let's quit talking about this and that and not working and focused, aligning our efforts. I was telling somebody this morning, I'm so tired. I spent a lot of my life saying that there were things important in my life and in my work, that there were things that were important, that this was what we were about. And then when I look at my calendar, my investment of time, I would think, I'm fooling myself. And so one thing you will surely get from City Ministry Network if you spend any time with us in leadership is that we're ruthless about alignment. We're not going to play around because business as usual is no longer accepted. And pretending that what you say or what I say is important. As I look at my calendar or my wallet or my time invested in energy, doesn't match what we say is important. So who is City Ministry Network? Nacho, I'm going to leave you there. Who is City Ministry Network? These are the board members. So if you're our governing board, could you please stand? Please stand for us. Go ahead, Nacho, stand, and others. I know some of you are not, some are out of town this morning, but these are them and staff. Ruben Imperial's not here with us this morning, nor is John Grover. Cindy Marks, her husband, she's with her husband out of town today. So these are the governing board. Somebody asked me this morning, are you the boss? And I said, no, that just means I'm first fired and I'm the first to get blamed. So, and that's why I get paid all this money. So that's the governing board. That's who we are. This is why we exist. Because God loves the world. We exist to strengthen the capacity of our community influencers to work together for community transformation. We want to develop your capacity toward community transformation, learning how to work together, learning how to process together. Lone Ranger leaders are no longer going to be the norm. Learning how to work together, partner together. Somebody was telling me earlier this morning, man, thank you for being honest last week or last month and sharing your weaknesses. You know I got a lot of them, and I need all of you to come alongside and strengthen those weaknesses. But this is what we want to be about. And over the last months, I met with our advisory team last on Monday, and they, love them dearly. They beat us up pretty good because we want to be sure that if we say that's what we're going to be about, what we do with you and what we do in the community reflects that. Now imagine how you lead your ministry, your organization, your agency, your department. Is what you say that you're about reflected in your actions and how you treat people and what you do? So why do we gather leaders together? I have people in the community sometimes ask me, why do we gather leaders? Why do we do such a thing? And I really want you to hear my tone this morning. If you want to read the words in the back, that's fine. As believers in Jesus Christ, it's a mandate for us to join together with others in the flourishing of our community. We're responsible for that. Not, I'm going to sit over here by myself and throw rocks, or I'm going to sit over here and just do what we do. No. We are mandated and encouraged and challenged and commanded to be a part of a flourishing community. Because, of course, we need to love our neighbors as ourselves. Deep down, that's our core. Now, I say that to you, and I want you to know this room is made up of men and women from all kinds of different backgrounds. Some of you would say, yeah, Bible, yeah. Some of you would say, I don't know. And I want to say to you, we're working with everybody. It doesn't matter. And I want to say to you, it matters to us. On the other hand, though, I want you to know with our sincerity, this is about all of us together. And if we're going to move toward renewing our community, making it all that it should be, it's going to take all of us from every kind of background, every kind of skin color, every kind of language, every kind of background. And we know that we are going to be key to that, to bringing people together in safe environments and safe places. So I want you to know we cherish and we celebrate men and women that are different, whatever the other is. Everybody hear me? And it's so important that we figure out how to love and care for each other, those different than us, different than you. And we celebrate you. We surely cherish and celebrate your contribution to the richness and the beauty of our communities. And that's part of our responsibility and our call and our motivation. We want to develop community leadership and cooperation between agencies and ministries, increase our understanding of the things that are going on in our counties, communities, whether it's issues or problems, expand our awareness of the amazing number of people and resources who are committed to improving the communities we share. You and others who aren't here this morning, you are an amazing group of people, and we tell you that whenever we're together. Whether it's here or in the Inspire Women or the Recovery Modesto group, whether the small groups of other young leaders that we're mentoring and coaching, we say to them all the time because it's true, you are amazing people with amazing gifts, abilities, and talents. Let's figure out how to row together, as Stan Risen would say, to align our efforts together. And that's what we want to do. This is some of the why. To continue to put us in places where we increase our knowledge. So some of the connections that have happened over the last few years, that number in the red is 900, is when January of 2014, we decided to look at our database and say, okay, how many are we connecting with, really? And so we started counting numbers. Numbers are not the only indicator of success and impact, but they are one indicator. Everybody hear me say one indicator? But over the last 2.5 years, 1159, 1231, 1343, there continues to be a growing number of you and I who come together and are saying there's something important here when we gather together in a room with positive people who are done throwing rocks and calling people names, who are done just saying things and then not wanting to do anything. I heard a story the other day. Well, no, I've been going around asking some certain people in the community, when you consider our community, what comes to your mind? And he went into a couple of negative things, not a couple of negative things, 5 negative things real quick. Boom, 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 boom. I said, oh, well, you know, I can, if you want, why don't I set you an appointment to come in? Why don't you come with me? We'll sit down with the person who's responsible for that and just share with them your thoughts and ideas, and I'll be there. So if you're a jerk, I'll hit you in the mouth. I didn't say that part. I thought it. So I said, let's sit down and just share your thoughts and how you can be helpful to solve this problem. No, they would never ask me. No, well, I'm asking you now. Let's do it. Let's go talk. Well, now listen to me. I'm done with that kind of talk. I know there's sometimes I can't solve any problems, but let's sit down together and try to figure out how we can work these things out together. We're in church. Give me an amen to that. And I know I'm in a lot of places. A lot of you in this room are that way too. Well, he does. Let's do this thing. Let's fix this thing together. So those are the numbers. So how are we going to help you flourish? What are some things that we're being intentional about helping you flourish, about strengthening your capacity? Here's some things that over the time with conversations and thoughtful reflection that we're going to say to you, here's some things that we want to do and we're going to continue to do and create spaces to do that. First thing is provide opportunities for your growth, professional and personal. So over the next years, even more longer, we're going to continue to invite you to opportunities for enrichment. And if you want to be a part with them, you can do that. If it touches your heart or scratches where you itch, you are welcome to participate with it. Because we want to create spaces where you can be developed in your personal development and in your professional development. We want to provide opportunities for connecting you with like-minded people and like-minded leaders. We want to create spaces where you can find people that are just like you, that maybe care about the same things you do, or you can partner with them with the hope that you will then find somebody to go have coffee with or have breakfast with or whatever it is and say, tell me who you are. Now, there's a couple of people in this room, you know who you are, so you're going to laugh with me. There were a couple of people, these 2 people are. They've been after me for 3 or 4 months to have breakfast with me. And so this morning, okay, Randy, all right. So Randy and Maria, they work with our precious homeless people in our community. And so they said, hey, Maria, let's have breakfast. So I've been, yeah, come on. So we finally got breakfast. We set breakfast this morning. And, yay. And this is about when we met each other, common heart, common mind, let's sit down together and hear from each other. Because proximity eliminates fear. When I'm close to somebody or I'm developing a trust relationship with, all of a sudden I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid. And you can be the same way as well. Provide spiritual encouragement. Our work, and I was talking to one of the guys earlier this morning that was in the room here, this work is hard. Community work is community development and what you do. If I heard your story, you would say, yeah, caring about people is hard. It is really hard, and it's draining. And if somebody was to sit down with you, I'm confident that you would say, I'm tired. I'm tired. And it doesn't have to be physical tired. It could be just emotional tired. I'm just tired. And I pray that there'll be people in this room that you can come alongside and say, I'm tired. And they don't give you a 3-point outline about why you shouldn't be tired. You've met those people, haven't you? Just let me tell you, I'm tired. Quit trying to fix me all the time. And then we pray for you. You better believe we pray for you. Because without prayer, whether you believe in prayer or you don't believe in prayer, and I do, I didn't sleep last night. One, I was anxious about this talk with you this morning, to you this morning. But more about if we're not encouraging each other and strengthening each other and creating a space where prayer gives a freedom to have these conversations. This is off or not. This is pack up and forget the whole thing. That's just me. So how we're going to continue to play our role, I want you to know that we will be faithful to honor what your role in the community is. That we're not going to try to manipulate you and try to get you to do something that you're not sure you want to participate in. And you and I know we've all been parts in places where I don't know if I want to be a part of this, because every time I'm around them, they're trying to manipulate me or get me to do something or take something. And I was telling somebody the other day, here's who I want to be, and here's who we want City Ministry Network to be. That when you come around us, that we're not trying to take from you, but that when you see us coming, you think, and you have truth, that we want to give to you and invest in you. We want to invest in you and build inside you. And you call us on that. Don't let me or anybody else get away with taking in our circle. We're here to invest in each other. If you come once to Catalyst or once to Inspire, Recovery Modesto, or whatever you do, you are no longer a guest. We've got to get out together in this room and invest in each other. And finally, our success is your success. We will go to bed at night and wrap this thing up someday knowing that you are successful and our success is in your success. The numbers are good. Yay, numbers. But if I know, and we know that some of you and many of you have blossomed in who you are and what you do because of what we do together for the sake of the city and the sake of our communities, we've done our job. We've done our part. So looking ahead, there's some things I want to encourage you in as we move on to this next season of 2018. And there's going to be more than one. And when I'm done here, one of the questions around the table is going to be, what's one thing of the takeaway from Marvin's talk, or the talk this morning? But as I've thought about this time, and I've thought with you over the last really months, there's some things that have been impressed upon my heart. One, some might work for you, some are like, what the heck? But maybe one or two you can consider. I want to encourage you to take the initiative to connect with others. And I want to say with the others, people that are different than you, people that might not see things like you, and sit down and say, help me understand, help me see, help me to know show me what you see. There are times with people where I'll see, my hard drive will kick out some information, and so if I know somebody who might have a different hard drive or kick out something different, I'll say, here's what I see, tell me what you see. But taking the initiative. And I want to encourage you to step out of your comfort zones. Don't be afraid. I got all emotional a couple of months ago at one of our board meetings. I got all teary-eyed. And I got all teary-eyed because I said, I don't want to be afraid anymore. I don't want to be afraid of making mistakes, or I don't want to be afraid anymore. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and he reflected that to me. I didn't say that, but he says, one of my goals in 2018 is to figure out what could happen through my life and through my work if I was not afraid. I thought, oh my goodness, that one's the one I'm going to sit on for a while. I don't want to be afraid. And I don't want to be afraid of people different than me. And I'm going to let you decide who the other is and who different is. You decide. I've got a mandate to love my neighbor. That's my mandate, our mandate. Seeking peace with others, praying and loving your enemies, or people that you might not understand or might not know about. too much hate talk. We need to knock that off. I can only answer for the communities that I'm a part of. We need to knock that off. No more forget tweets, because you all know what I'm not thinking of that. No more Facebook, no more emails. If you want to say something to somebody and you might have an opinion, go sit down and talk to them face to face. Because it's chicken. My mom had another word for it. Love you, Mom. My mom had another word for chicken when I didn't face somebody and talk them straight up. Go talk to them and sit down. Not coming to fight, but to say, you know, what you said bothered me. I do that to Joe Duran all the time. He hurts me so deeply. Nacho Libre. And I say, Joe, you just hurt my feelings all the time. And then I cry. And Lonnie, you're the worst. There's an inside joke there. So I want to say to you, you know, when you have these differences, sit down with somebody. Sit down with them. As far as it is with you, be at peace with everybody. Now, why am I saying some of this? And I'm going to go to the next slide, is that in our city, you and I together need to be catalysts to make peace. Not peacekeepers, but peacemakers. Practice kindness through respectful, civil conversations. Lead through humble service. And as Jody Hayes mentioned last month, find and inspire future leaders. If you're 18 and a leader, go find somebody younger than you. If you're 60, find somebody younger. I spend time with younger ones to teach me. Help me understand what you see in this world. Because I surely have a different paradigm, and I need to adjust to that. But it's not going to happen unless you and I get out of our fear and our comfort zones and we invest in the younger ones. Jody made a comment that was impressive to me, and it was a question that challenged me. I hope it challenged you. What kind of communities do we want in 2020? What do we want our cities and our county to look like in 2030 and 2040? It starts now, where you and I are investing in the lives of each other and the young and the old. If the young intimidate you, get over it. I know I'm never supposed to say get over it, but we got to run over it and get over it. Let's build together where we can and disagree strongly, respectfully with grace and patience where we cannot. This group is not about let's all think the same way together. I want to create a space, and we want to create a space where it is okay to ask questions. It is okay to see things differently, but with a teachable spirit, so that within it all, we can find the best solution for our city and our community. Are you mature enough for that? I'm just capturing that thought. I wasn't going to say that, but then I just realized, can you handle that in your maturity? To love and care for somebody that might see things differently than you, and not have to call them names and trash their character. I would say among us who own this vision together, that would characterize us. And that we would, yes, it would characterize us. And it would characterize you. But it's going to take maturity, because it is lazy leadership, and my mother would say chicken, to just trash people and not do the hard work of reconciliation. And men and women, reconciliation is hard work. It's staying at the table long enough. And I want to encourage you as my friends not to grow weary in doing good. The ship in our communities are moving. The conversation about what excellent leadership looks like and what it does is changing. It's shifting. The conversations about what effective leadership looks like is moving to a much more collaborative and partnership conversation. Some of us, just like me, have got to continue to learn how to do better when it comes to knowing how to be partners and doing and learning how to sit at and play in the sandbox. And I struggle with my mind that I grew up in a model of leadership where it was bold and, man, you just charge and you just run over people and you just go, and things are changing. And I've got to learn how to bring people along. We all do. And yes, it's more patient. Yes, it takes longer, but the work is deeper. And City Ministry Network over the next year wants to go deeper. Not with more stuff to do, but to go deeper in our work and our investment in you as you invest in others. But I want to encourage you, don't go weary in doing good. And when you do, find somebody who you trust to sit down and say, you know what, today I'm tired. I'm so fed up with. And just say it. We're going to need each other together for this next year and continue to grow together. So we wanted to remind you all why we're here. Want to remind you why we're here. Together working for community transformation. With our differences, good, bad, ugly, with our different voices and our different backgrounds and our different perspectives, it's going to take all of us. And you are all welcome. We are all welcome here together. And as I work through even this language and some of the things I said this morning, I know that tone matters. And what you see and how I say it matters. And we are sincere about all this. It's going to take all of us. Would you go with us? Would we go together? First words out of my mouth is I do love you. And I agonize and I pray for you and our city and our communities. And I know many of you do. And I love partnering alongside you, serving this incredible group in our city. Yeah, I'm not a fool. I know we have warts. But you know what? What a great place to grow up in and to grow old in. And we are so honored to be a part. And I pray in 2018 that you will partner with us, continue to journey with us, because we're going to need all of us to turn this ship around. With some skills of knowing how to partner together, playing in the sandbox together, having maturity to sit down with somebody when they see things differently. It's going to take us all. The question around the table, if there is a slide number 2, is this. What's one thing, if anything, that I said this morning, what's one takeaway or action point I can apply to my work? There it is right there. We're going to do it around the tables. No one's going to challenge you to do anything about it. But here's some things I want to reflect on and I want to think about as I leave this room. What's one thing? Could be 2 things. But we're going to ask you this. Leave enough air at the table so that everybody gets a chance to talk. And you'll have about 8 minutes or so. So, oh, why are you laughing? Have you met those people too? So here's what it is. Share your comments and then don't teach. And don't tell a story or explain it. Just say it. If you can explain it in 1 sentence, just do it. And you with me? So, all right, leave some air at your table. See you in a few minutes. Thank you so much.
Okay, we want to honor your time and get you out of here on time. You're more than welcome to stay and finish your conversations about Marvin's inspiring speech. And I'm not being facetious, Marvin. That was great. You went a little long, but other than that, you did great. Got a little tiresome. Huh? Yeah, that's his review. Now, he promised this month that that a great speaker was coming, and, you know, he did really well. I'm proud of the guy. Let's see, next month, we should have a slide there somewhere. There we go. Gratitude. It does a community good. I'm not sure exactly the lineup for that, but that should be a great topic. You know, speaking of topic, that was a good thing, I think, Marvin. In all seriousness, it's healthy, I think, from time to time and stop and ask yourself why you do what you do. And why do you go to the things that you go to? And so it's a good question to ask. Why do we meet here once a month and do this? And there's any number of good reasons why. And Marvin, you did a great job of making sure that we understand that. A couple of announcements. Inspire. Great opportunity for women in our community to meet together, find out what each other does, find out how to encourage each other. They meet once a month. Let's see, I think it's the second Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, of the month from 12 to 1 at Familia Bistro Ristorante. You can see the address there. So just that quick announcement. And then finally, you know, what's the date today? The 3rd? 2nd? I don't know. There's less than 60 days left before Christmas. And there's a little less than 60 days left to give money in 2017. So just a reminder, no pressure, but if you feel motivated to dig down deep, why, that would be great. You can. There's a number of ways you can do that. So, great job. Wonderful to see people. You know, I was telling somebody earlier this morning. One of the things that I love about coming here is that I get to see an awful lot of folks that I don't get to see normally. And not that you're not normal. You're all normal, but I get to see that. So it's great. Well, let me pray for you, and we'll dismiss. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for the reminder that you have given us a great community. And it's a great community. It's a community made up of some wonderful folks. And I thank you for the opportunity even here this morning to meet with those who are like-minded, those that have a passion for our city and for the things of this city. We're grateful for the things that you're accomplishing. It's easy to become discouraged sometimes when we read the paper or listen to the news, and yet little by little we see great things happening, and so we're grateful for that and for the evidence of your provision in that. So would you just dismiss us with your pleasure and with your grace? Give us a great day, we pray now, in Jesus' name, amen.